Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello to all the ships at sea. If you are joining us live, if you're joining us after the fact, I'm glad you're here with me today so we can do a little tapping about allowing success into our lives. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this after the fact, one thing that if you want to say thank you for the time that we're doing this, all you need to do is just down below, click that little thumbs up button. What this does is it trains YouTube to know that this sort of content is valuable, so people will come back to it again and again. We can serve it in the algorithms as we're doing that. So just like we've been doing all week, if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. We're going to have 5 days of this tapping. You don't have to watch it in order. Each day is standalone. We're just doing a little work to make it easier for us so we feel worthy and deserving to allow success into our lives. One of the reasons why I think it's so important we do this sort of tapping is the types of stories that hold us back from being successful, the things that we see as dangerous in the world, are deep in the subconscious mind. They're worldviews. They're how we see ourselves. They're how we see the world. And typically, transforming those don't happen in a single round of tapping or a single session of tapping. I'm open to that as a possibility, but it's important that as we're engaging with this, we do it in a thoughtful, deliberate way if we really want to move ourselves to being open to success. So, to begin, before we dive in, I just want to make sure that we are grounded, we are present to the work that we're doing. And all we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple minutes. I always do this on my watch and set a timer. We're just going to do a couple minutes of wordless tapping to get set up. Take a nice big deep breath and just scan your system top to bottom. Notice if there's any tension, any heaviness, anything at all that is just in the system. Don't be diagnostic, just notice it. And as you're moving from tapping point to tapping point, as you're now noticing your system, just breathe easily. And you might go in the order that you used to. You might find one tapping spot and stay there. You might jump around and freestyle in a way that feels comfortable, like the old Yellow Pages ad. Just let your fingers do the walking. And we're just going to do a couple minutes of wordless tapping. And as you're doing wordless tapping, if any resistance, if any tail ender shows up, jot that down. Be present to it. And it could just be as simple as breathing in peace, breathing out stress as you tap. Excellent. Just take a nice big deep breath. Give a big stretch. If any tail enders showed up, any resistance showed up inside of your head, pay attention to that. Be present to that. So today, what we're going to do, the angle that we're going to look at this is we're going to just take a look at the resistance to the way our success is going to be perceived. One of the fundamentals I love to work from is this idea that the people in our lives want us to change and evolve as long as they don't have to. And we certainly have supporters, we certainly have people who have our back. But when we change, we're showing up differently, which means every relationship we have in big and small ways become renegotiated. So to start with, what I want you to do as we tap along is I want to be tapping in such a way where it is possible for us to be present to what is going on and paying attention to how other people are engaging with this. So, what I want you to do, take a nice big deep breath. And each tapping point, I'm going to have you complete a phrase. And even if you are not certain about how to finish it, let your subconscious mind finish it. And as you do that, do it in such a way where it is easy and gentle for you to navigate your way through it. Complete the sentence. We might have the same answer, we might have different answers. And just listen to your subconscious mind complete these phrases out loud. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. People in my life will resist my success because. The people in my life will resist my success because. Nice big deep breath. Okay, now what I want you to do is I just want you to take some notes if you have pen or paper nearby, and I want you to jot down some of those resistances. And as you jot them down, I want you to categorize them as expected or unexpected. And I think it's good for us to lean into that. And for me, having that distinction is really, really useful because sometimes the resistances that are expected, I just go, oh, those are expected. It's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. And I don't go after those things because they're expected, because it's really easy for me to read them as if that is the way the world works. And for the ones that are unexpected, the exact same thing can happen where we don't tap on them because we don't expect them. And so having that lens to look at them and recognize where it is coming from can be a useful thing as we engage with it in this particular way. So feel free to write those down, pay attention to those things, see what is going on as you are engaging with that. As those come bubbling up, feel free to share one or two in the chat box, because what we're going to do is we're going to spend another 10 minutes or so just tapping on the resistances that we're afraid we're going to experience by being successful. Mhm. And I want you to pay very, very close attention to the ones where it's like, "Oh, this again," because it's so easy to feel burdened and overwhelmed by the ones that show up over and over and over again. And if you're still tapping stuff in the chat box, go right ahead and do that. We're just going to start tapping and we'll incorporate that as we go along. I recognize the fact that when I have success, it means I am evolving. When I have success, it means that I am changing. And as I evolve and change, my relationships change. The way I see myself, the way I see my work, the way I show up in relationships. And I recognize the fact that when I show up differently in my relationships, it means the relationship is going to change. And the people in my life want me to change as long as they don't have to. The people in my life want me to change as long as our relationship doesn't. And this is not because people are unsupportive of my change. And this is not because they don't want me to change. But their subconscious mind just wants the world to be predictable. Their subconscious mind just wants things to be the same. Because the same equals safe. I give myself permission to know it is safe to change, even if it impacts our relationships. I give myself permission to know I am allowed to change. I give myself permission to know my relationships are always changing anyway. They might be afraid I am moving too quickly. With my success, they might be afraid that I'm leaving them behind. With my success, they might be jealous. They might judge me because they think my success is too easy. They might judge me because they think my success is unwarranted. They might judge themselves because my success is showing them they are not moving forward. I don't want to cause pain to the people in my life. I don't want them to feel insecure. I don't want them to feel disappointed. Not only do I not want them to experience that, As I am aware of other people's experience, I don't want to feel their pain. And this can hold me back. But I recognize the fact not only is my world better, but the world is better when I live an authentic life that embraces my success. Any change creates friction and turbulence. But that is true until it is not. And it is okay for me to recognize the facts. The friction and resistance will not last forever. I'm already constantly renegotiating all of my relationships because we're all changing in subtle ways. And I'm already surviving that. And so I give myself permission to know it is safe to have my relationships evolve as I have more success. I am allowed to recognize my relationships can and will evolve while I have success. I am worthy of having my relationships evolve, ultimately in healthy ways, as I have success. I am deserving of my relationships evolving in healthy ways as I have success. I have permission to have my relationships evolve, working hand in hand with my new success. Nice big deep breath. One of the things that's really important to recognize when we're looking at our relationships and their evolution and how it relates to our success is on a subconscious level, there's a part of us that so desperately wants to belong on a subconscious level, because thousands of years ago, if we didn't belong, we were pushed outside of the tribe and we died. And so this is an opportunity for us to recognize that resistance, to recognize I can change and stay connected. I can change and stay in the relationships that I have in my life. Next week, we're actually going to be spending a lot of time talking about things like this and a lot more. I would love for you to join us. All you need to do is go to tappingqna.com/ULB for upper limit busters. We're going to be doing some really comprehensive tools. I got 5 tools that I'm teaching over the course of the week. Then a couple of weeks after that, we're doing a big deep dive day where we're tuning into all of those ways that we've been told that we are too much and how to overcome all of that. If you got any questions about that, support at tappingqna.com. We will be back here again tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern time. Again, go back, watch the previous sessions. They are on YouTube. In just a moment, you're going to see a link for those of you who are watching this after the fact, where you can actually click on the playlist and watch those things. I hope you have an awesome day wherever you are in the world. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.